Hello and welcome to a new episode at Mindset Mastery. I'm your host, Ahmed Assaf, and today we have an amazing guest, Emmi Kavander. How are you today, Amy?
I'm really good, thank you.
Today we'll be discussing lots of amazing topics that every CEO or decision maker or even a leader who's looking to have like better results or a different even a different perspective to the cases that he's been in and thinking sometimes out of the box because most of the time we've been working in the business and not on the business. So today we're having an amazing coach, business coach. So she will be sharing her experience to learn more from her. If I would love to start about this mental faculty, which is the perception. If you could tell us a little bit more about it and how we could apply it in our daily life and how could we develop it even.
So, firstly, happy to be here and thank you for the invite.
Thank
So,
you.
perception is an interesting and very wide topic because we talk about perception and reality oftentimes together, and reality for each of us is very different. Reality is often seen as a very absolute thing, even though even in this very moment, asking anyone who is now present here or listening will have a very different view on reality and the perception of reality and different things. And what forms our perception is basically everything that has happened so far in our lives, all our experiences, any biases that we may have, any kinds of influence that we have experienced, whether it's today or even longer time ago. It all shapes our perception.
But this perception is something that can be developed or something that's already there. You cannot do anything for it.
It definitely can be developed and is something that we certainly also benefit from developing if we're not getting the results we want, because
Mhm.
to a lot of things it's really about like the mindset you have, and that goes together with the perception of things and how we want to form them. It's we have these different biases, and one of them is the confirmation bias, which is a very, very strong one. So if we think something and something to be true, for example, if we think that someone is treating us in a certain way, or even life is treating us in a certain way, then we will find evidence for that. And this goes then a lot together with different kind of belief systems that we have, and beliefs in general that we have, whether they are global beliefs about life and about the world, such as, the world is unfair, or the world is cruel, or also the world is wonderful and exciting. Those all will shape the perception that we have of everything going around us, and thus then also be shaping our reality and our reactions to it.
So here is the magic word where it applies, which is the attitude. What from your experience, I would love if you could share like a definition for the attitude and how it plays a major role in the success of your business or even in the personal life.
Hmm. A definition to attitude. I think I've never thought about it in official definition terms,
Mhm.
but if I think about attitude, it's a culmination of the the values that we carry. It also includes the beliefs that we hold, and also the state that we are in, because our attitude may be a very different one depending on the current state that we're in. If we are in a very negative or sad state, our attitude towards anything in life will be a very different one in that moment, versus we are in a very happy state. Now, then again, attitude, going deeper on it in terms of values and beliefs, then would carry in itself all of these past experiences again, like, because values is one of the things that we're really not born with. Like, we're born with a lot of things that are built into us, but values is not one of them. They are shaped throughout our whole lives, and then there are these profound values that we get from family early on, or our caretakers, and so on. And then there are also more recent values that may happen, for example, because one has had a child or gotten married or someone has died or whatever that would be, any kind of life events that would then change those values. For me, it was a very severe traffic accident that I had that changed a lot of my values. But there's always something that builds on these old values that we have, and then also changes and more recent values, which then can also very much impact our attitude and also the perception.
If you could tell us about this accident a little bit and how did your perception played and even your attitude played a major role to continue
Yeah.
that journey and being here now.
Yeah, sure. So I have to say that even though I'm a coach and my goal is to help as many people as possible, that was not the case always. To be honest, until my accident, I was pretty much occupied with helping myself and with developing myself, and I just wanted to go faster and higher and more, and climb that corporate ladder, and did everything I could to get ahead faster in terms of being quite obsessed with cognitive psychology and how to influence my own mind to get the best performance out of myself, how to build resilience and how to deal with different kinds of situations, including lots of people telling me over and over again that what I wanted to do and told them I was going to do was impossible. So I managed to do quite well, but when this accident happened, I realized that if actually that day, if I would not have survived, which according to the doctors was the lesser likely option. So, but if I would not have survived, then what would people have actually said about me? Like, what would I have left behind? And I really wasn't very happy with that. And in my case, it was a very concrete thing because I still know the date when kind of I would have had theoretically a date to exit from this world. And then I just started to think about more about like up until then, I had only thought about what I wanted in life, and I thought that by getting what I want, I would be happy. But I had gotten everything I wanted, everything I had written down in terms of goals, whether it's being on the leadership team of a stock listed goal before a stock listed company before I'm 30, or driving a Maserati, or all these kind of things. I'd achieved those, and I was still very unhappy. And that's when I realized that actually you don't get happy by getting what you want, but you become happy by figuring out why you want to do something, like the purpose behind actually doing and being.
Mhm.
And that very much shifted things for me, and I started thinking about what I could do, and that's where I also realized that instead of advancing my own career, I want to help other people reach their potential and reach their dreams, and everything I had learned and experienced so far in life, I could actually multiply the effect of having gone through that and done that work by sharing that with others and helping them get to their goals faster.
Amazing. So through your experience, what would be like three major things, be meeting like CEOs, business owners, or executives? What are the three things, major things that would make them unhappy? The common things.
The three main common things are we focus a lot on things that we can't control versus the
Mhm.
things that we can.
Let's talk about what we can control.
Yeah, yeah. So firstly, to just focus more on what we can control. What we can't control makes us very unhappy. One
Mhm.
of the things also that we can't control that people also a lot focus on is the past. You can't do anything about that either.
Mhm.
And then it's really not living in line with your own values. And that doesn't it's not that we kind of wouldn't want to, but quite often we don't even necessarily know what our values really are. We haven't really looked at them. We might say like, yeah, my values are, for example, I hear that a lot, that one of my core values is family. But family is not a value because, some families are super close and super loving and caring, and you have this bond, and those are the things that you associate with family. For another person, then again, there might be some arguments in the family, or some negative things, or combination of them, and distance and so on. So family itself is not a value. Is a similar way, kind of valuing money, but money brings you something. Money in itself isn't the value. You might value security, you might value stability, all of these things. So by really going into understanding what your values are, that's when you can start building a life that aligns with those values. And instead of chasing something like a single point in life that you think that you want, but it firstly might not be aligned with your values, or there might be a lot of other ways to get there, like all roads lead to Rome. You just need to know what that Rome is for you, and that often comes from the values. So
Mhm.
those would be a few of the things that I see.
And if we're talking about the people, or especially those at the sea level, that they are stuck somehow, if we want to go to the root cause of the being stuck, what would be the major things that they are suffering daily, let's say, from your experience, from your clients, that
Mm.
daily we are stuck because of this?
It's definitely limiting beliefs, and those limiting beliefs are very often on some level tied also to self-worth. We talk
Mhm.
a lot about self-esteem and confidence and how that's important and all that, but self-esteem and confidence are not same as self-worth. Self-esteem and confidence, you can be, those are things that people on the outside see. But then there is the internal dialogues that we have, and the internal life that we have. And even though someone might appear very confident and might be quite confident in many situations, we've all gone through some things in our lives that have had an impact on our feeling of self-worth. And typically when you find that, like where that is coming from, or where there might be a glitch in your story, because that's pretty much what it is. We tell ourselves stories in our heads all day long. And when you can reframe that story and replace it with a different one, that's when really magic starts to happen. But the limiting beliefs, they come from some sort of experience. Um, Quite often it's a question of self-worth, and a lot of things are rooted in there that we don't actually even think that would be rooted in there. But then also limiting beliefs due to any other circumstances or influences that we might have from the external world.
Mhm. So that's brilliant. And from what you're saying, that we have two campaigns. So either you being like a victim, playing the victim mode, or being leader. And it's your choice, or the audience, it will be their choice to be one of the two campaigns. So either you're being stuck with your results, unwilling to commit, let's say, your limited beliefs, your distractions inside and outside, doing the wrong things, or you'll be on the other side, which is you're transforming, you're making this transformation part of your identity, and you're growing daily. How could, from your experience, get the audience just understand that point is everything goes back to a decision, to a choice.
Mm,
Happiness is a choice. Being in one of
mm,
those two campaigns is a choice. Your results are your responsibility. Things happens to you and not for you.
mm. Yeah, I could. There's a story actually where I learned that in my life that has to do with my accident as well. I was laying in hospital, and people came to me and they were saying that I mean it's horrible what happened to you, and it's absolutely horrendous, and that at a certain point we didn't even know if I was ever going to walk again. And I refused to believe that. I refused to believe that this was something horrible that happened to me. Because if you say that it's something that happened to me, then that make me a victim, and that makes me also a passive participant in my life. Now, I don't want to be a victim, nor do I want to be a passive participant. So for me, I just said that, hey, I don't think that. I think this will be the best thing that has ever happened for me in my life, and that magically great things will follow. And they did. One of the things being that almost to the day, 3 years after my accident, my daughter was born. So it's really a choice to also see in terms of like, do things happen to you or do they happen for you? That's one thing. But then it's also about like finding confirmation for things, and again, how you rephrase them and how you frame them in your mind. Like, you can see and seek proof for anything that you want to find it for, good and bad. Just, a very small but very practical example. We were driving from holidays during the summer, and we had to stop because my daughter is not that comfortable in the car. And of course, it's not, not so nice when you have that, you have kids and they get maybe sick in the car and all of that. But then again, because we had to stop, we actually then later on we found out that there was a major accident exactly where we were supposed to drive. So if we would not have stopped, if my daughter had not gotten car sick, we could have been in that accident. Now, we could have also said, instead of us with my husband concluding that, hey, actually, this was a really good thing. Maybe this was meant to happen, and maybe this is what saved us from being in that accident. We could have also said, like, oh, darn, now we are like, first we had to stop because she was sick, and now we have to take all these side roads and, drive
Yeah.
longer. It's completely a choice of how you want to see it, whether those things happen to you or for you in everything that we do and in everyday life situations, and the same thing in business. Like, there was this great actor that once gave the example. He was going through some acting classes, and he had a situation where he was supposed to go through a door, but there was a chair blocking that door. And he asked then his instructor, and kind of like, so what do I do, right? I mean, like, I can't go. And his instructor just told him that, hey, use the chair. And he asked him, like, what do you mean use the chair? Well, if you want to do drama, then, bang against the chair and, make it a scene. On the other hand side, if you're going to make it a comedy, fall over the chair, right? Use the chair. You can't make the chair go away, but use it to your benefit, and choose the way you want to go and how you want the story to continue.
Really amazing story. So I don't know, but through your accident, I don't know if you would share that. There were some moments, and everyone have accidents in his life, some trauma or issues, situations. We face that a lot. But what our perspective and our perception and our attitude will help us to get out from that situation. So how could we develop that our personal, ourself, to be strong enough once we have any situation, or let's say any accident? I don't want to expect accidents, but
Mm,
if we are in a drop and somewhere it happens, how we could recover and be like somehow protected.
mm. Yeah.
We don't wait,
Well,
we don't wait accidents to happen so we can change. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I think a lot can be done with just starting to reframe things in our minds and to understand when the situations occur.
Hmm.
To understand when is the like a situation that somehow triggers me in a way that I don't want it to trigger me, or I do something in my life that I don't want to do, to really stop and think about it and think about whether it is where I want to go or where I don't want to go. There's a lot of people think about like the past, and there's this movie Back to the Future, and kind of they're so afraid to even move a single pencil because it might change the whole course of the world. But do we today think about moving a pencil and that we could actually change the whole course of the world? No, we don't. We somehow think that things in the past would have had a bigger difference than what we actually do today. So by thinking about more of where we want to go and what we can control, again, like we focus so much on things that are somehow external and underestimate what we actually can control, right? If you want to get somewhere and you're like, yeah, but there are all these people that this and that and that. Yeah, but there's probably something you can do to, maybe there's someone you can get to know, where maybe there's something you can learn, maybe there's a place where you can start going to, whatever it would be. We actually have much more control over our lives than we think, and to actually take that control and and start acting with that and believing in that. But it's
Yeah.
it's it's like with everything, it's a muscle. You have to train it. So there's no like even though sometimes I hear, my clients are saying like, I do mind hacks and I reprogram their brains. Yeah, kind of. It's in a way, it's neuroscience and it does that. But at the same time, there's no code that you can put into someone's head and it sticks there. Like it fades away if you don't, like any language that you learn. You can speak it really well, but if you don't use it for a long time, it goes away. Muscles that you don't use, they go away. So it's really a matter of training and practice doesn't make perfect. It just makes you more natural at what you are doing.
Exactly. That's why, like professionals, they are having this deliberate practice. Every day they're practicing. They're not the average.
Yeah.
And that's where we get to that, be professional in what we're doing. We master what we are doing. And it's a muscle, as you said.
Mhm.
Every day we have to train it to have this bulletproof attitude and to look to the situation as if it's an opportunity and not a challenge or even a problem. So what would be your last message to our audience?
Last message to the audience. I think the biggest impact comes really from shifting the mindset from to me to for me. No matter what it is, you might not see it today, you might not see it tomorrow, not even next year, but there will be a day that comes in your life, no matter what you're going through or what has happened, there will come a day when it all makes sense and you will think to yourself that thank God that happened because otherwise I wouldn't be here today where you then are, where you actually wanted to be. So I would say that that's one of the biggest things that you can do for yourself to change your life for the better.
I love it. So it's a choice at the end, and
Yeah.
it's your choice, it's your responsibility. Thank you, Amy, for this amazing episode, and looking
Thank
forward to
you.
see you. Thank you.